In dystopian Black Mirror news, now with DoorDash, you can pay for your food with interest-free installments. Buy now, pay later. My generation can't buy a home, but they can finance a Chipotle bowl over 3 months with zero interest. Is this not the greatest country on earth? If you have to finance your lunch, you might want to go ahead and delete DoorDash off your phone. It might be time to pivot to food stamps. Launching burrito back securities. Imagine getting your lunch from 6 months ago repossessed. The repo man just runs up on you and starts pumping your stomach, getting sent to collections over Shake Shack. We are so in 2024, consumers spent a record $75 billion using buy now, pay later services. Everything is so fucking expensive, so consumers are effectively fighting inflation with debt. Well, that's a key indicator that we're in a recession. Starting this week.
So Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of every millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. This is we're at the end of this shit. This is truly the end of America. And this is, hearing this, America is doomed. The American people are doomed. And Trump is not concerned about nothing. All he's concerned about is more tariffs. Starting World War III. He did the same thing his last predecessor did. And they give two shits about the people. That is utter madness. You have to pay. Scripture says, matter of fact, I'm just going to get it. That is utter madness. You don't get no lower than that. You got to pay a loan for some money, for food. Ooh, you know what scripture? Matter of fact, Revelation 6 and 5, 7, 5, 5, 5. Matter of fact, yeah. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And behold, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balance in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny. So a day's wage is a meal." I'll repeat it again. A day's wage is a meal. I'm going to say it again. A day's wage. So you go out, for you people that got those high paying jobs, you get over $20 an hour, 30, 40, 50 an hour. It's going to get to the point where that 8-hour check that you made, that's going to be your bill for the day, which will leave you with no money for any sort of bills. All right, you got to pay your rent or you're going to eat. You got to pay your car bill or you're going to eat. You got to pay your light bill or you're going to eat. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty. So this scripture was a prophecy that was going to take place. And are we not living it? It says, "in 3 mills of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine," which is true. The scripture says in 2nd Ezra 15, the Lord told Ezra to write let me get it. Second Ezra 15 and 1, it says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." This is what we lead upon. This is what makes the understanding. Because what they're doing is collectively, Proverbs, I believe it's Proverbs 21 and 7. Oh no, 22. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. Now people are gonna be servants to DoorDash, Uber, whatever. You can't pay $20 for a meal. You pay later, and that pay later shit is good. It feels good, but you still gotta pay. All right, you still gotta pay. You gotta pay it back. Some of them with entrance. And Esau, so the small hatters, are well known for using entrance. So instead of people going out there cooking, learning how to cook, they rather buy food. Now come to find out, it doesn't matter if you buy food, you cook, or it doesn't matter. It's still expensive. You gotta probably eat once a day to save any money. Families are complaining. That's why it says this is reading that time, Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. So these people are in a state of mourning. You can't even get you gotta work hard to get a decent meal, and the meal that you get is not enough. Make that make sense. But this is supposed to be the greatest country in the world. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is about to execute heavy judgment like they've never been seen upon this place. This is part of that judgment. Matter of fact, let me get to something in the neighborhood. Now, judgment doesn't always necessarily means a life and death situation. Judgment could be life-altering stress that can kill you down the line. That's judgment. Like the dietary law. The law tells you, don't eat pork. The modern Christians today will eat pork. Right? But eventually, what will end up happening if you eat something that eat garbage, so forth? You will end up getting parasites that can eventually kill you. So that's just a different form of a judgment. And this is the perfect form of judgment. 2 Ezra 8:50 says, For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the earth. Dwell in the earth world. Because they have walked in great pride. You got all these bitches out there that's for man, he gotta spend an X amount of money on a bitch. And if she gonna oust him if he don't spend that money, right? She'll go on a date and get a doggy bag for her. The man that she lives at home, the kids, expect the man to pay for this shit. And all she's doing, that's a form of great pride right there. That is the majority of these people. Okay? The majority of the American people is they live in great pride. They expect everything to be going accordingly the way they want it to be. Lord forbid if you don't get the right thing that you want. So the scripture says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time, because we are in the latter time. And what proves that we are in the latter time? Hebrews 1:1. Since Yahweh Shai came into the scene, this has been the end of the world. This has been the end. So the great miseries that's taking place when you gotta get a fucking bank loan to pay for some outside food, I would believe that is a form of great miseries. Right? But understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. Second Ezra 16:19. Yes. But here it is, 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth. There was a period of time in America you could get anything for X amount of money. It was nothing. I give a prime example. Because I don't know how it works in other states. I know certain states they have to go to the big name supermarkets. But in New York, you have the grocery stand, the food stands. And then these food stands, there is what? You get supposed fresh vegetables and fresh fruits. Now, one of the best vegetables slash fruit, which like plantain. Plantain at one period of time was the cost of it was maybe you could get 10 for $1. Plantain is what? Is like a banana, but not sweet. Depending, you get the green one or the yellow one is sweet, but not fruity sweet. Now that shit is, you may be able to get to like 3 for $2 or something like that. Or my favorite, lemon and lime. There was a time when you could go to one of those little groceries. You could go out there for $1, maybe 20 limes. All right, I remember, and that was not that long ago. Now to get these fucking same thing, it costs. You'd be lucky to get 4 for $1. So there was a period of time where everything was real cheap and good, and it was convenient. You didn't want to eat a steak. You didn't want to eat certain things. There was always a substitute. But things are changing. Now, all of a sudden, people rather eat out, and them rather eating out, they prefer to spend their hard working money. Because everything is conveniently given to the people. So don't say it. Not the risk. The game is rigged. So now you eat out more. Fast food companies to stay home. Nobody wants to know how to cook. Nobody cares about cooking. Just go order out. Behold, the victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that shall think themselves to be in a good case, because nobody expected that. That's why everybody's complaining of what's happening. What's up with these prices? They all complaining about that. Huh. It says, even then shall evils grow upon the earth. So those period of times, evils has increased rapidly, which evil means bad time. Sword, famine, and great confusion. And Lord knows there's been a nothing but a confusion. Men thought that it could be everything under the sun. Women thought the same as well. The Lord is making things happen. Lives are being ruined. People are being deleted before the great and terrible day of the Lord. Okay? So it's a shame, but this is what is part of the struggles, the truth. This is how we get to the kingdom of heaven. So with that being said, shalom to the elect in the nations. Shalom.